Here's a storytelling technique for you. We're going to talk about transitioning between slides in your presentation. Here are 5 ways that you can do it in a different way. So instead of just saying or repeating, okay, now or next, we can actually transition our slides depending on what the slides are actually saying. Let's look at 5 different types of transition and some expressions you can use to do it. Okay, number 1 is about transitioning from a problem to a solution. So one slide presents a problem, the next slide presents a solution. What we can say here, instead of, okay, next then, what we can say here is, that brings us to the real question. How do we fix this? The next example is when you're moving to show some data or a chart or a table or something like that, or a graph. In this instance, we can say something like, the data paints an interesting picture. Number 3, if you're moving into a deep dive to analyze something in more detail, we could say, to understand the why behind this, let's look at number 4, when you're making a contrast or a comparison. Now, contrary to what we've just seen, and number 5, what about just telling a story? When you're transitioning to a slide where you can tell a story about something, you could use one of these expressions. While X was happening, Y was, or last week when I was visiting, or maybe you remember last year when, now all of these expressions are going to really upgrade your language when you're giving a presentation. It's going to really help your audience feel engaged in what you're saying. And that's the idea of storytelling. That's the idea of good communication, that your audience can follow what you're saying. Remember, that's the first objective. Good luck.